Hello, Greg.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
We're doing great. Today we have Vivek with us. So, as he's
Hello,
the
Greg.
part of development team now,
Hi,
so he'll
Vivek.
be
How are you?
joining us from
Hello,
today on.
hello, Greg. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing great too.
Yeah, sorry for the wait. I had some here here to clean up, so I'm just finished. Has John checked in yet?
No,
Not yet, John.
All right. He was also busy with something. Let me see if I can.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. We have a return visitor here. Vivek has come back to the group here.
Hello, John. How are you?
Good, thanks. Nice to hear from you again.
So, let's get down to the updates. How are things going with the development?
Would you like do a quick update? Yeah, Ajish. I was working mainly on the database dumps. So I was analyzing the existing or the live database dump. I think I had shared a database dump SQL with John, and I had also created a sheet on which I have noted down the major models which we may need to migrate. So I need the opinion from John on which all models we require for the version 1 of the new website. So I was just waiting for the reply from John. So by that time, for the past 2 days, I was working mainly with the models and how they are associated with each other and how complex it will be the task for writing the migration scripts. So I was working mainly with the migrations.
How is that looking? Do you think it's going to be able to be smooth, or what do you think?
Most of the tables they have a relationships well defined, so that's a pretty good thing done by the earlier company. So it is easy for the new or our team to look into it and find out the related models. So that is pretty well done. So we need to have sit together with John on this deciding which all tables we need to migrate. So it is pretty straightforward, but it may take some time because we need to read from the old database and we need to write it to the new database because both of them are having a different structure. So we need to write the migration scripts. That is the only time consuming thing, but it will be smooth.
Okay, so yeah, let's get on the estimate, the work estimate for the same, and uh, present them to Greg.
Okay.
The other item was the wireframes, of course. So Vivek, do you want to get started?
No, I actually, Ajisha, I think.
Oh,
No,
it was.
actually, yeah, I was just being part of this call. I just want to know what the status of the feedback. So I'm waiting from here, and someone could.
Oh.
Yeah, Greg, I saw your comments on the ATF wireframes. So we had updated the UIs to incorporate your most of the comments, but I have doubts on like one or two items. Uh, can you do we have the link for the wireframes? I mean the designs. Let me just share.
Yeah, if you could share those with us.
Yeah, I have shared it in chat.
Okay.
So most of the comments, some of them are just UI updates. The other things are just functional changes. So most of the comments we have noted and we have taken care of. But however, let me go through. Yeah, I need clarifications on comment number 5. So can you just check the comment number 5? You have added a comment like trainer should be able to add groups to his or her practice. So
maybe Milan, maybe I can share the screen, so that will be helpful for Greg to, or is it fine, or you can?
No, yeah, you can go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah. So let me. Yeah, I think this is the point you were talking about. Point number 5.
Yeah. So Greg, I need your input from like your side. What is your thought process? I need to understand what's the thought process to see whether we can fit this.
Okay, wait a second. I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah, the trainer should be able to add the groups to his or her practice. This is an option when you click on a group, when you're on a training group, when you click on this dot button, you will have an option to edit this group, manage this group, and delete this. So currently we offer these 3 options here. So
Right.
On this, there is a comment that shows the trainer should be able to add groups to his or her practice. So we just want to know what is your mind. What's the idea you were thinking about?
So the idea is to, let's say we might have 100,000 groups or teams on UB Sports. What we want to do is make sure that this trainer can either write or put together their own groups and then invite either members or outsiders into those groups. Or let's say that the trainer is the trainer for a university that already has all 30 teams loaded onto UB Sports. But the trainer should go and get the teams that the trainer is going to be working on and put them under their umbrella so that they only have to look at those 30 teams, not all 100,000 teams that are out there. So that's basically it's to give him direct access to those teams as opposed to all teams in the universe.
Yeah, okay, Greg. So we have already added, I think that comment was already there, what you suggested. You need to invite the group from the UB universe to his training group. So I guess that was already added in the screen. Maybe 1 second.
Yeah, I think we wanted to just make sure that was in there. And I think there was a little overlap in that too. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think then this comment is redundant, I guess. Actually, Vivek, you can actually delete or mark it as done. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I marked it done.
Yeah, so that part is actually taken care of, Greg. So while creating a group or managing the members, when the trainer has the ability to add members directly, all the members from a group inside the UP Sports community. So that's actually handled. So that's fine. And the other thing, 1 second, let me just go through.
Should I need to move to the 9th? Are you talking about the 7th, or should we move to the 9th?
1 second. 9 was clear. The other thing which was not clear was the 7th one.
7th one.
So Greg, the initial thought process is like we have a trainer has a training group, and he can create areas inside the training group, and can have multiple teams or schedules or manage all kind of steps. So actually the concept comes like you have a group like an academy or something, or a school or something. Then you can have areas. So from this command, it's like ability to view events for all areas in this view, multiple calendars like in Google Calendar. So then the idea, the concept completely gets changed. Then everything is related to area. The area should be the topmost model. So we are not, as per our discussion, we are not designed it that way. So the areas are inside a particular group. Within a group, he can actually add multiple areas, and while creating an event or a schedule, he can actually select or assign a particular area. So that's what the thought process is. So
Okay, so that's, yeah, you're exactly right. But what I'm looking for is something of, let's say there are 4 areas. There's the
yeah, so if you are just thinking like we should add a filter based on the filter. So suppose I can list all the areas here, and you can filter the events based on that areas. That would be fine.
what I'm
Yeah,
looking
we
for
could.
is a grid that will show the different areas on going across the top, and then down by date, by time, show which what's going on in those areas. So that, let's say you have 4 areas at 9 o'clock, 2 of them are being filled by John and Jerry, for example, but the other 2 are empty. So we know we have the ability to fill those 2 areas with 2 other athletes coming in. So, but if we have, I have this problem with the club that I belong to, is that we can only look at 1 court at a time. So in order for me to find out if there's an open court, I have to go through all 4 different courts to look for an open court. What I'd like to see is the same thing with this, so that we all 4 areas, or all, however many areas there are in the training room, are visible at one time, so I can see what's open, so I can fill them. And
So Greg, I think what Milind is trying to say, yeah, well, definitely, I understood there. But for that, can we have a drop down which lists out all the area here? So you could switch, you can choose an area from the drop down that will reflect the same screen. So is that fine, or?
well, the problem
Yeah.
here is that we're gonna have to go through each one of those areas to find one that's open. And what is more appropriate is to have a grid that shows the all the areas at once, so you can see which ones are filled and which ones are still empty that I can fill. Otherwise, I'm going to be spending all my time switching between areas to see which one's available so I can fill it. It just makes it a lot more efficient to do that, to do the trainer's job.
Yeah, so let me think. If you don't want to have a drop down, maybe we can have a
I think what Greg is kind of envisioning is, if you're using a calendar system and you go to create a meeting and you add a resource or conference room, for example, you can kind of see which conference rooms are open at what time slots. You wouldn't necessarily be able to read like what kind of event or who's in it, but more like an availability type screen. Greg, I think there is a constraint, because within the app,
The width.
if you manage 20 areas, you're not going to be able to see 20 columns in that grid or whatever because of the device.
Yeah.
You know, maybe an iPad is different than a mobile phone, et cetera. So there are some constraints. So you just can't build something that puts them all there. So there would have to be a way for you. Imagine if you're shopping for something on a website. There's typically compare functions. So you can kind of compare the specs of 3 different items that you might be interested in.
Sure.
So maybe there's a way, I still envision it as a different screen. But I would be able to say, okay, let me pick these 3 areas and look for availability in these 3 areas. And there would be some limit to how, some maximum limit of how many areas you could view at the same time.
Right, and you're right. You don't really have to have the details of each one of them unless you're interested. And then you click on, you just tap on it, and that would open up that area at that time. But yeah, if it's just a grid that shows, let's say a green color if it's still available, and red if it's filled, or something like that, just so that we can see, so the trainer can see what's available, what areas still can be filled up and what are already filled up. Doesn't have to be like,
Greg, I have a thought. Maybe I am wrong because I am new to this. So my suggestion, as you said, I understand the availability is a key concept here. Like users just want to know the areas of availability of some sort. So like we said, in the drop down, we are saying choosing the areas. In the bracket, you could say like the availability count on each areas. So that will, when you click on the drop down, it will list out the availabilities for each areas. So if I'm not wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, is that what you're seeking for?
I am, exactly. It's just the availability that we need. So it could be like all 10 areas, only 10% of the screen, and just have red and green and red and green. And we know that red's full, and then green is still empty to fill up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Milind,
I got the idea also, but I was thinking what John suggested, like said, it is possible if we have an area like 5 areas or 6 areas. What if we have like 25 or like 30 areas within that place? So then it might be a little bit complex to show all those stuffs inside the within the screen. So let us think about whether there is any easy way, or maybe how it can be brought to a smaller screen without losing the functionality. What I initially thought was either a drop down or to have a button grid for all the areas on top of this. On clicking, then it will list the calendar or load the calendar so that user can see on which all time which all areas are available. So but again, the problem arises when if there are 30 areas. Anyway, user will have to see all the 30 areas, or to navigate through all the 30 areas to see which one is available. So let us think on that, whether we can have a simple solution to check the availability, or yeah. So that's my thought on this one, because there is a constraint on the smaller screen.
It is, yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Greg, there's something else that I think you're going to have to think about as this actually goes into use. And if you have in the athletic trainer department, I imagine you may have multiple trainers on your staff who are responsible for different teams within the organization, within the school or whatever.
Or different
or the
areas
club.
of the training room, yeah.
And if I define within my group of clients certain areas, those areas may be the same that another trainer defines in their group. And if those areas are the same areas, how do you deal with availability when multiple people are going to try to use them?
Yeah, that'll be another conflict. Yes, that's true, John. And it could just be either a first come first serve kind of thing, or it can be a schedule. Like I know that the basketball team starts practice at 4 every day, except when they have games away, and so they have to be in between 2:30 and 4. So I can just schedule that time for the area that I need, or areas that I need throughout the season.
I mean, we can discuss this offline.
Yeah.
because we're not going to have a solution implemented in this version. But the scheduling of the areas becomes, I don't know, very challenging if I have to confirm through some other mechanism whether the time slot I'm picking, the app shows it as available, but I might have to check something else to see if that area really is available, like check with the other trainers or check with, you know, whatever.
In this situation, the trainers are all going to be sort of a team themselves within like a team room or a training room. So it's not like they have to, you know, call up one of the other trainers who happens to be down the hallway. They're all sort of in the same area, you know.
But the areas, if I heard correctly, Vivek, are the areas part of a specific group within the app?
Yes, indeed. No, actually, yeah, actually for the flow, if you go to while creating an area, no, actually, indeed, yeah, you have a manage area for.
Yeah, so the areas are actually confined to a group for now.
Group,
But
training group,
if
yeah.
you are thinking it otherwise, then areas should come over everything. So that changes the entire course of the application, I guess. So right now it will be like one academy. Suppose the group, the training group is for one academy, then the trainer can create areas within that specific place. Say there is like uh, a golf area or like a TT area or spa or things like
Right.
that.
So
Yeah.
Greg,
Pretty accurate for most situations.
so Greg, if you have an athletic trainer who's responsible for the wrestling team and another trainer who's responsible for the basketball team, they're both going to have their own groups set up, their own members, the team or on the team or whatever. And I'm going to define an area, which is the gym for my basketball team. And that area is going to be within that basketball team's group.
Well, remember,
But
the
then you
area
have-
will be a section, a part of the training room, not necessarily the gym, but it's going to be in the training room. And it's going to be like the ice bath or the aerobics machines or.
Okay, so same principle applies. So there's one ice bath, and I define that ice bath for my team as an area that my team.
Okay.
Okay, and then another trainer defines the same ice bath for their team to use.
Now they can't do it
Like,
at the
there's
same
no-
time. The whole point is they can't do it at the same time. And-
Right, but the idea is that those areas are going to be distinct. They're separated by the group. So it might show as nobody in my group is using it and show as available, but I'm going to have to contact that other trainer to make sure that they're not using it.
That's what the scheduling app is supposed to be doing. That it's supposed to be showing that there's only one ice bath available and it can handle 3 people, for example. And what we're counting on is that this program will say that there's 3 spots in the ice bath and how many does this trainer need for this group, and then just load up the ice bath with the number of people that it can handle.
Yeah, so the concept is that the resources really shouldn't belong to the group. The resources kind of are outside of that group and are made available to specific groups. Like that's an entirely different kind of resource management.
Right, they're generic.
Right.
Then Greg and John, then areas should be or can be only created by the admins, or it should be managed from a single point. Because if you are allowing trainers to create areas, then anyway this problem will happen. So otherwise the areas should be managed, consolidated, or entirely managed by an admin or somewhere, so that the groups can make use of them.
Yeah, there will be a head trainer all the time who will who will be in charge of administrating the training room on the app, and they're going to tell us how many areas there are and how many people can be in that each one of those areas at once. That sets up that availability. Then it's up to the head trainer to say, okay, I have 4 other trainers under me, and we're going to be bringing in these teams. And then they go and get the teams and the individuals in those teams. And then that starts that daily routine where they fill it up.
Yeah, so you're looking, Greg, it sounds like that the resources don't belong to a team.
No, they don't.
Teams are given access to resources. So
Well,
there's,
yes.
so there's going to have to be some kind of functionality where a trainer can create areas and say, these are the groups that are allowed to use, or these are the people that are allowed to schedule against these resources.
Right, that will be the other 4 trainers in the training room.
Right, so there's going to have to be a way for those permissions to be assigned, which looks like it's totally outside the realm of what's been built here. So anyway, my initial point is that I think you have to kind of walk through, you and I should walk through that process and how that would work, because it's going to require a different set of screens in order to manage those resources, to be able to create them, modify them, and select who is allowed to schedule them for use.
Okay, so see, the page that they have up right now has create area and manage areas. And so this is something that's going to be sort of a one-time event for the head trainer. The head trainer is going to come in and say, create area. Okay, ice bath. And they can upload an image of the ice bath if they want, I guess. And then let's enter area title, ice bath, description, cold. And then under that, enter area address. That's not really that necessary here, but under that, it has to be which trainers have access to that area. And that probably should not even be in the manage the area, but it should be in the training room, basically the step above that, where, you know, before you get to manage areas, there has to be manage the training room.
Yeah, but that has to be done outside the scope of a single group. That's what I'm saying. It has to be done outside the scope of a group. Like you don't go to a group page and then create training areas within that group. Like conceptually, it has to be outside of that.
Well, you know how we have subs, John? We have you're able to have groups over a group and then subs under that. I'm thinking that you might be able to have a training room, and then the first group under that are the trainers, or the trainer. Maybe the trainers all have access to that training room scheduling system.
So Greg, let me suggest one simple like solution. So, but we'll have to think about it in depth. So maybe like we can have like an let me think. A head trainer or an admin who can actually like create a group, and then this trainer, whoever is using this app as a trainer, should be added as trainers to that group. Like otherwise, then this let me think.
I think
Otherwise,
what Milind is
yeah,
suggesting is a role-based access.
Yeah, it's more kind of a role-based access, but it's not completely role-based access. So my idea is like, say we have a group A, which is the base group, and then we will be adding trainers to that group. So these trainers can actually create their training groups inside that, but the group A will be having all the areas. Okay, so when a trainer creates a group, like a subgroup like B or C, then the areas can be accessed, but the areas should be managed by the head trainer or someone of the group A. So that way we can deal with it. But again, that puts us back in a place where it's everything will be like remodeled, or it then goes out of scope. So this, I guess, is a simple solution to this what we are dealing with right now. If you want to have area based like scheduling system.
Right. So you
So
have, so I'm seeing the head trainer as the owner of the group, but then the head trainer can assign administrators to the group as well. And that would be the other trainers. And then they would have members in that group that would be all the other athletes and teams. And then the owner and the administrators, which are the head trainer and the other trainers, have access to the scheduling capabilities of the areas.
no, actually, the head trainer will be creating a base group and giving access to the trainers. So within that group, the trainers can create their own training group. Suppose, say, like this. I am a head of an academy or something. Then I can create a group and I can add trainers. So when I'm added to this base group, I can create my own training group. Say, suppose if I am a gym trainer or someone, I mean, then I can create a gym group. So the basic training group that you see inside this one will be, suppose it will be for a gym group. Then the areas for this group will be coming from the base group A, that is from the complete academy. So then I can just assign, I mean, like select that area and see whether it's filled or not. So that is the base thing, but we can't go on like keep changing the models and stuffs in between the designs, because it's a heavy process. I guess, like as John said, it actually put us in a worse situation and put things in out of scope. So uh, this is what I think. With minor changes, maybe we might be able to incorporate this thing, uh, like to add a base a trainer or someone. So, but we'll have to again check the feasibility of that. Otherwise, we'll have to park this for now and build. I mean, on top of what we have right now. So that's what I think of this feature for scheduling based on the areas. So what's your thought?
Okay, so if we need to back this down a little bit, I think the way we can do it is forget the areas part and just have the trainers invite the teams or the individuals into the training room itself. That makes life easier for us right now. And
Yeah, that is completely fine, because when you are, I mean, like when we are coming with the concept of areas, then we will have to think a lot of things. When a scheduling part also comes, then we will have to think about a lot of stuff. So my suggestion would be, we can either, if you want, we can park this feature right now and take it up later. Otherwise, we can have a glimpse of what we already have, and later we can think it about in depth and implement this. That's what I guess. If you want, we can retain this area section inside a group. Otherwise, we can completely skip the area part for right now. I mean, this time, and take it up later. As you and John can discuss and
I think it might be a solution for now.
yeah. Otherwise, we might end up complicating things and might mess up what we already have. That's what I think.
And we can make this more demand-based. We can see what people are asking for, what the trainers are asking for as we bring them on, and see what they think.
Okay, so what's your thought? Let's completely park this area-based feature, or just uh, uh, have this area as of now, like what we have built, and later take up stuff and remodel it. So, what do you think?
The only thing okay, I think we can give up the areas part for now.
No, I think
On the next version.
we should leave it as is for now,
Okay.
because it will allow a trainer to identify an area so that when he invites people to it, to an event or something like that, it can show that area. Okay. The issue, Greg, is when it actually comes to scheduling that area, there still, for the time being, will have to be some external mechanism that they use to confirm availability.
Okay.
But they would be able to list areas within something that they schedule. So I think we should leave it as is. It's just that issue, as I initially mentioned to you, is that just because I put it in here and it shows up as available on a particular day doesn't mean that it really is, because there's other people who use those facilities as well.
All right.
So
we do have
that's
to
what I'm
go back to doing this to figuring out when if there's more than one trainer in the room, how they go about organizing that among themselves with the different areas. But
right.
As of right now, we can just leave it the way it is. I think it works okay.
Okay. So yeah, that I guess resolves the comment number 7, and the other, the next one would be 14. Yeah, it's already here. The second one from the selection.
Yeah.
You can see the second last one from the comments. Yeah, this is again based related to the area. So you have asked whether we can limit number of people to an area. So you need this feature, or
the area, it is important, only because you don't want to have too many people in the ice bath at once or in the aerobics room at once. I would say we do need to have, number one, the number of people that can fit into a certain area, and then a way to limit it so that you don't overbook that area.
Okay. So okay, we will add an option to specify the number of, the max limit of people that can be added to the area. So
yeah.
So Greg, that's going to require some other things too. Like if I set up a training event or a session, I'm going to have to specifically identify how many people. Right? Like I can't just invite like a team and assume that everybody on the team or that group is going to show up. So when you create an event, you're going to have to say, well, there's going to be 4 people here in this room, so that you can measure that. So it's going to require some other changes to the way things are done and set up.
Well, there again, I'm definitely seeing how these are constraints all over the place. I think we can just have. Can we leave it up to the trainers to monitor each other or themselves, or should we have a constraint on here and say, okay, well, 8 people are allowed to come into the aerobics room at once, and then have them dedicate?
I don't think the constraint necessarily works as is, simply because another trainer in another group could be scheduling that area as well. So they're going to have 8 people coming to that facility, and I'm going to schedule the same area and have 8 people coming to the facility. And in order for them to check availability, there's still this external involvement. They have to verify with some outside source that the room's available.
Yeah.
And if other people are sharing that room, what's the limit? So it seems like that control is kind of outside. You know, that's far more of a resource management function that we should look at all at one time when you go to restrict people.
Okay, so instead of having like a restriction as to how many people can be in there on the calendar, then what we have to do is somehow show it there's an overlap in need. And, you know, we have like 2 teams showing up in the aerobics at 4 to 5. And then they, you know, when you go to sign up that your team for that time, that the calendar just shows that there's another team in there right now. And that way, so you have to deal with that when you're looking at it real time. You look at the schedule and you see that somebody's already there. You say, oh, well, there's enough people, nobody's going to show up, and you know, you can do it that way. Maybe that's the most comfortable way to do it. Instead of having a max number of people there, just show it on the calendar when you go to sign up for that area, that there's another team or there's another person already signed up for it. And just
but that has to be when the areas are outside of the scope of a specific group.
When you're talking about group, are we talking about a team or about the training? The
team.
Group of
team. A team.
Okay. So let's go back to then. Yeah, but if you have it graphically, if you're looking at it, if you're looking at the calendar, you're going to see that there's another team already there, right? That's already signed up.
Yeah, but there's no way to know that the area that was put in for one team is the same as an area put in for another team. Other than you would like just say, oh, they're both talking about the same room.
Well, that's exactly what would happen. They would see, you know, the area would be the aerobics room, and you have the basketball team there. And
but programmatically, there's no way for the area that one team creates to be related in any way to an area that another team creates.
Well, no. I think we're talking about, there's only one area that's the aerobics area. There's one area that's the weights area. There's one area that's the ice bath. And the trainers then decide, okay, well, I'm going to have the basketball team come in between 4 and 5 for aerobics. And so they fill up that area spot. And then if another trainer says, I want the wrestling team to come in for aerobics at 4 to 5, they're going to go on to this app and they're going to say, oh, look at it, the basketball team's already there. And then they're going to have to talk among each other to see if there's going to be enough room there.
Yeah, but you're right, Greg, but in its present form, the way this app is built right now or is designed is the basketball team defines an area, aerobics room.
No, the trainer has defined the aerobics room, the area, not the team.
Right, but it's within the scope of a team. When you manage an area and create an area,
the areas, there's only there's only 1 or 2 or 5 areas in the room, and the trainers work around among each other to decide who's coming into the training room at any particular time. The teams don't have anything to do with defining what the areas are. The areas are specific to the training room itself. So it's the trainers who are setting up way at the beginning when they first sign up for UB Sports and using the AT app. They're going to be defining the areas that are available. From then on,
Vivek, what's the scope of the area. Is that part of the training group or part of a team?
Yes, indeed. Yes, actually, that the flow I can explain. Like we are creating a training group here. So when the user clicks on the training group, and it has a timeline of that. But the timeline, that's a profile for the training group. There you could manage area. So it is within the training group.
So Greg, I have a training group, which is basically set up because there's one trainer with one of the teams or something, right? So I have a training group and I define my area. What if that area is shared by another training group? So both training groups define the training room.
Well, no, no. That's the training group is only the trainers themselves, and they have access to the different areas of that training room. Then they invite the teams or the individuals in those teams to the different areas within the training room. So really only the trainers have access to setting up schedules.
So you're saying that a group of trainers at a university, for example,
Yes.
are all going to be part of one training group, that they're not going to ever have a need to have two training groups.
Right, there's only one training, those are the trainers. They have access to the areas, and then they invite the teams and the individuals in to have access to those areas.
Greg and John, as I suggested, we need a base for all these groups. Whatever concept, I guess John is much more like understood what I am trying to say. So we have training groups right now created by trainers. So we need a base group or a room which involves all these training groups,
right,
which is the base group, and in that base group we'll have to define all the areas,
right,
so that these areas can be used by the trainers inside those training groups. So that in that way only this can work, otherwise this won't work. So
right.
Again, as I suggested, then we have like completely shifted the scope of creating a base group and adding and managing all the areas out there. So what's the thought? Shall we? I think then, Greg, the best thing to do for now is, and John, is to park the area section uh, uh, for now, and we can take this area section and the base group uh, next time. That would be that would make much more sense. Otherwise, if we are designing the area inside a training group, then it becomes a problem, right? So
Yes.
John,
it does present some conflicts.
Definitely, it's a challenge.
Yeah, then it would become very difficult for us to like redesign the entire stuff. So my suggestion would be either we park the area or remove the area from the training groups for now, and later we can actually design a base group, I mean a room, or an, like as I said, the base group would be like the academy, and the training groups would be like uh, gym or basketball or
The teams, in other words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a better idea also, Greg, if we do hide it, now that I think more about it, because if you allow trainers to start scheduling, then you have to find a way to convert all of the data for those areas that's already been scheduled.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Again,
then you're
at this point, then it would become a useless feature, and it would actually complicate things within the app. So I guess, we can better avoid it for now and build the entire feature in the next phase. That would be much more that makes much more sense to me. I would like to know your thoughts.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I agree.
let's do that. I agree too. Let's start there, and we all can see what the demand is as well as we bring in training rooms and see what how they want to handle everything.
Okay. So that actually solves many of the comments. Most of the comments I mean, like doubts which I had was related with this. So that actually concludes all the comments, I guess. The other stuffs are clear, I guess, and the changes have been incorporated into this. So I'll be we'll be removing the area from the necessary screens, and we'll be like start developing the scope. I mean, the app within the scope for now. So is that fine? Can we like go ahead?
And leave out the areas for now, and then we'll circle back with the areas. But as far as the scheduling goes, we'll have to have then the ability to have more than one individual and more than one team to be invited into the training room at any particular time without regard to the conflicts, without regard to having more than one or two or however many people or teams being invited at once. So your schedule, you go to the one over to the left, that schedule is going to have the ability to have more than one bubble there for 9 to 10, for example. It would have to be basketball team plus John Jones plus wrestling team are all in that the training room at once, even though they're in different areas.
Yes, I understood. Yeah, we'll have to find a way to incorporate that also. But like as we concluded, it would be not in this stage, but at a later stage we'll have to make changes to the screen also, because it will have to support schedules from other trainers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be they're still what they're going to have to do is that the trainers are going to have to confer among themselves and say, listen, I'm going to have the wrestling team in between 3 and 4, and you're going to have the basketball team, and they can decide among themselves if there's enough room in the training room for that.
Yes, got it. So okay, so yes, yeah, that concludes with the comments or clarifications that I need for now. Uh, so as we concluded, let's park the area for now, and we'll keep, I mean, note all these points, what your entire vision is while building the app, so that we can scale it in the next phase to involve this area and scheduling aspects.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be fine, right?
Okay, good. Melinda, also, I still need to get actually access to the app through the Daiwi system. Are you still using that, or
I have already shared a couple of builds. Did you actually like install it? You can just click the link, and there's an option for you to install the app. Have you done that? Otherwise, I can provide a build and I can assist you in installing it to the.
Okay, yeah, I've tried a couple of times and it keeps on saying that that version is closed. So if you can help me
Yeah,
load it.
yeah, you might have tried after 3 days. The link actually is valid for only 3 days, so you'll have to install it within the 3 days. Once you install it, you can use it forever. That's fine.
Okay,
So I'll provide a build today, and I'll just tell you the steps also, what all things you have to do. I have already provided test credentials. We have created credentials for you as well as John. Uh, but you can check the site also with that credentials. That would be fine, I guess, right? Do you
Yes, Milan, it will work. For John and Greg, it will work.
Okay, so I can provide you a build after this call. And I'll just mention the points what all you have to do for installing that. So please do it within the 3 days, and please provide us with the Apple account as well as the Firebase and Play Store account details so that we can also uh, move things to your end.
Yeah, actually, Greg, that would you also, resolve the current issue. Like the build will be expired like 3 days. So if you could have an Apple account, we could, upload a build to test flight, or you can release the Android build in the beta version so that it will be valid for at least 90 days. So you could, even if you take time to review the time, that will saves, like the trouble while you cannot access the build again. So if you have the Apple account, we could share the build by test flight, and you can use it on any device with the test flight app. So as well as for Android also, you can download from the Play Store as a beta build. So that will, makes things easier for reviewing the application.
That's great. Please.
Okay,
So it would be ideal if you could set up the Apple developer account as well as Google and Firebase as soon as possible and share with us so that we could speedy, you can send an update with a speedy process, and you can also review according to your time. You can have the feedback without again, we have to bounce back and we can have a new build. So it will resolve the time save. So that will resolve for both ends. That will be an ideal solution if you could register up the Apple developer account as well as the Google developer account as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm also going to send you. We did open up a Apple developer account.
Okay.
I finally got it took me a while to get it done in Bradstreet number. We took care of that though, and I'll email you the credentials for that. Or John, do you have those? You want to send them to the creds?
No, you didn't send them yet.
Okay. Thought I did. I'll send them to everybody in Slack.
Yeah. Yes, that concludes two of the things. So as far as the AT app, we will be proceeding with the initial development. Okay, and for the UB Sports, I'll be providing a build to you. That's fine. And did you get a chance to go through the yoga app, SRS, or what are your initial thoughts? Do we have, I mean, like, whether we'll have to like uh, go through the entire thing over again?
Yeah, it looked good from what I read. I don't think I'm ready to sign off on it yet, but it did seem to have the right stuff in it. I'm assuming that you're basing the way you're going about this and the way you're setting it up with what you've done with the other gyms like Crunch and other things. Because basically it's the same concept as what you would use in the other apps that you've done so far.
So I initially got the impression there will be studio owners and they can create their own session and make it like with a wrap it with a subscription or something. So that was the initial idea that we were actually discussed. So if you have more thoughts on that, please share so that let's discuss and decide whether it can be confined within the scope. So what's your thought on the fitness trainer app, like the yoga app? What should be the purpose?
Well, the focus of the fitness trainer app really is to allow the fitness trainer to schedule their training, their studio. If it's a Pilates studio or a yoga studio or something like that, they need to be able to set up the schedule for the studio, make that public to their clients, and then have the clients decide, basically get RSVPs and have the clients then sign up for whatever times they want to go. If it's a yoga studio and they have 5 sessions during the day, all the clients should see the times that they're available and then fill them up. And there might be only let's say 15 spots per session. So it would be basically first come, first serve into that session.
Hey, John and Greg, if I remember correctly, we had worked with KP on the scoping of the yoga app.
Yeah, I thought
And,
so.
yeah, and we had signed it off. So do we need to revise or revisit the scope for now?
No, I thought we were pretty good on that.
No, Ajish, I was just asking whether just to confirm that this is the base idea. So
No worries, no worries. I mean, I just kept confused that because we have assigned a designer to come up with the wireframes. So,
Yes,
and that,
even I was a bit confused. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
yes. So
wireframes will be
basically,
ready
we
by-
had provided, we had from the initial discussion, we had actually came up with a workflow of what the yoga app or fitness app actually does, the scope. So I was just thinking whether Greg had any other thoughts or because we actually in the process for the AT app, we actually revised many things, right? We actually removed the users model completely from the AT app and restricted it only to trainers. So if those kind of changes are there, then now it would be a right time, right, to see, because our designer has already started making wireframes for the yoga app. So that's what concerns me. So we can't have changes in the scope or workflow in between, right? So
I
that's
actually sort of envisioned more overlap in how the athletic trainer and the studio trainer would be working. So that's, I actually I'm looking forward to seeing the wireframes of the, the fitness trainer app, because that should be, it should give us some insight as to how we're going to go ahead with the athletic trainer, the areas and that kind of stuff. So um, when do you think you'll have the wireframes for the fitness trainer?
we should have it by next week. Greg, I'm sorry that I had committed for this week, but we did not get the resource allocated. So just give us another week and we should be able to review it.
That's no problem. Yeah, I'll looking forward to seeing how you do that. Now,
Sure.
have you figured out how you're going to do the subscriptions for that? Like, there are going to be the ability for a person to sign up for an individual class and then pay for that class, and another person sign up for a monthly subscription for as many classes as they want. So those classes are automatically paid for under that monthly subscription. Is that something that have you worked out that back office part?
so the subscriptions basically can be managed through in-app subscriptions. So that's provided by Apple as well as Google. So we can actually use that. So that's what we initially, I guess, we had agreed upon, right? Or if you have any other thoughts or like, should we stick to some other platforms or something, then you can just mention so that we can analyze and reflect on that. So
Okay.
otherwise, we will be sticking with the in-app subscriptions provided by Google as well as Apple.
Okay. That should be. Let's get back to you on that, because I think it might be smarter to have that outside of those apps, to have them done through either Shopify or Stripe or one of the other systems. I don't think we should have all those transactions going through Google, where we have to end up giving up 30% or whatever it is of those fees. That's all done
Okay.
within
So,
the individual studio.
yeah, please, you can do your groundwork and let us know as soon as possible, so we can also check whether things are can be integrated and are within the scope. So please do, and please talk to us as soon as possible. So
I'll go into Shopify today and see how I can do that with them.
okay.
That's good. Okay. So I've got a, anything else we have to cover right now?
As of now, no, I guess. I think we are good. Right. Adish, Vivek, or do you guys have anything else?
No, John, if you get time, please go through the dumps and let me know the feedback on that shared sheet itself. I'll share the links on Slack.
Yeah, I downloaded them. I'll take a look at them later today and tomorrow and get back to you.
Okay, sure. Thanks, John.
All right.
Greg, one thing from my end is like, do we have an idea when to start with the recruitment app SRS? Because if you can give me an idea, I can lock KP's date and get her assigned to it.
That's a good question. I think I want to get these other two up and working, because the recruitment thing really is going to be a little bit. It's not even that much harder, but it's going to take up some more space and time that I don't think we're going to have right now when we're launching the first few apps and the site. We have a lot of adjustments to do on the site itself, and I think we need to have a separate talk about that first before we get into the recruitment side.
Okay. So before ending the call, just for the clarification, I hope we are okay with the ATF designs with few changes that we have discussed today. I guess we are okay for the development, right? So that the team can start on the development phase.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And regarding the testing part of UB Sports website and mobile application, I guess there was some problem with the mobile app link that you have discussed, and maybe the mobile application can be tested properly from now onwards.
Yes, and I think that both John and I can have some time to test it over the next week.
Yeah, perfect. So yes, and the data migration discussion is already up between John and Binu. So I think everything is on track.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Greg. That's all from my end.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Talk to you soon.
Wish you all a great day. Bye.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, John. Bye.